Dude, you like cats, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? I guess people on this podcast before have seen that you have a cat.
I do. His name is JD.
He's a sweet little boy. What do you appreciate in cats?
That they're sweet. That
Well,
they
okay.
That they
In
like
all
cuddles.
cats?
Every cat I've ever encountered has fallen in love with me. Maybe I'm the human catnip. That's my superhero name.
You're cat weed, but in people form. Interesting. But the reason I ask is because this weekend I sat on a cat. Cat sat. For my sister's cat. And he's the sweetest little bean,
cat?
and I have not met a sweeter cat ever. He beats JD.
Not possible. So
I think it is possible, dude. I'm
saying it's not possible because JD, my cat, is the world's sweetest cat. So it's impossible for it to be another world's sweetest cat.
Such a prestigious award would probably be on your wall right now if it were the case. But I don't see one.
I don't know. Maybe I got it, in my secret lair.
Nah, man. But this weekend, was transported from my cozy little place here with all of my computer stuff and whatnot to my sister's apartment, which is a little bit smaller. But there's a little cat boy named Momo, which they stole the cat name that I was going to do. But mine was just going to be the Japanese name because it means peaches in Japanese. But their cat is named after Momo from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Still
Sure.
Good name. Good name.
Great name. Great name.
He used to be a little shit when he was smaller. But now he is the most mild-mannered,
He grew into his form.
He did. He's got one weird quirk, though, and they don't even know about this, and I told him, and I think it's because they usually leave their door open when they sleep. There's a mirror where their door, would lay against the wall. So since I had the door semi-shut, it was there. And I kept hearing noise in the middle of the night. This cat is either afraid or aggressive towards his own reflection. And he was just getting on his back legs and clawing at it.
It's another cat in your domain, man. You can't be having that.
But how are their brains wired differently, or at least what capacity do they not have to be able to understand that is them?
Well, they don't know what a reflection is. They don't.
Yeah,
I don't
but
think
it
they
does
even
the
know what
same
they don't.
movement.
I don't think they even know what they look like.
I don't know.
Can you imagine not knowing what you look like? Imagine before mirrors, and I guess they're always like water reflections. But
I mean, I don't even know if I know what I look like.
There's actually a really cool. I wonder if you know about this. My girlfriend actually showed it to me. There's a really cool manga that is cats, but they're like gangsters, and you see it from their perspective where they're like big gangsters fighting each other, and then you see it from like people's perspective watching them, and there's just cats like cat fighting with each other. It is hilarious. I don't remember what it's called.
So your girlfriend knows more manga than I do. So that is definitely one that has not been on my radar.
I'll see if I can find it here real quick. For all our cat lovers out there, it is a must read.
Did you read the whole thing?
No, I read the whole thing. It's called Nyan Keys.
Okay. So can I dissect that word for you now that I've processed it in my brain for a little bit?
Let's do some Japanese here.
Okay. So, of course, we say meow.
Of course.
For cats. That's the noise that cats make. In Japanese, it's nyan. You've seen Nyan Cat, the little Pop-Tart cat from ages ago. I don't know if you're too young or too old to understand that.
Is that what that was? That Pop-Tart cat?
Yeah, Nyan Cat.
I forgot about that. Yeah, 100%. With that stupid song.
Yeah, dude. And it gets stuck in your brain for all of eternity. But that was
latter before
half,
hour loops were a thing on the internet, and there were still hour loops of that on YouTube.
Yeah. It is one of the progenitors for meme culture that we know of it today. But this isn't the meme podcast. I just hit some hangers. Camera focus. So the latter half of the word is for Yankees or Yankees, which is kind of a derogatory term-ish for like a gangster or kind of a trouble kid or trouble person. So
makes sense.
Put it together. Yankees. Okay.
It's very short. It's only 6 volumes, so it's pretty quick read.
I don't know how long you can make a gangster cat manga run
it's
for.
It's cute. I feel like there was another thing that was similar to that where it's like you'd see it from a animal perspective, then you'd see it from a human perspective. I don't know. It's like Cats and Dogs back in the day. That was a great movie.
Was that a Pixar film or something?
No,
it was an animated film, though, right?
No, you're thinking of like Cats versus Dogs or something. There's Cats and Dogs, which is an old live action film where the cats and the dog's mouths were just very crappily like CGI animated, and they would like fight each other, and the cats were like this evil spy organization trying to kill off these dogs. It's not great, but it's fun to watch.
It's not great. Dude, Air Bud was my... Air Bud. Watched so many of those. Bless all those teachers.
Is that the one where... I know there's a lot of dog in Air Bud movies, but is it an Air Bud movie where there's like a clown guy and like the human, and they're trying to... They let the dog decide who to go with, and the dog almost chooses the clown and runs back to the other guy?
What the hell? I'm sure that's happened. I don't remember it. And then...
It's stark in my memory.
No, there's also that one, I don't know if it's a Saint Bernard dog, but it's like one of those big like Beethoven. Yeah. Dude, oh my God.
And then you had Air Buddies, which was all his kids. I mean, there's some great old flicks. And Gone Home or something? Where like the cats and dogs have to go across the continent of America.
Holy shit. We should start a new podcast about retro films, which probably exists in goddamn droves.
100%, yeah.
But, oh my God. But that's not what we're here to talk about today, and I honestly have no good transition for this.
That's
so let's just rip the Band-Aid off with introductions.
It's midnight. It's 12:23.
Oh boy.
I just worked for 8 hours, so I'm ready to dive into this.
So we'll waffle in your ears for a moment here with he's Ryan.
He's Braxton.
This is the Dungeon Crawl, and today, newsflash, new Unearthed Arcana.
I got a haircut.
Oh. No, go. Yeah, that's more important.
I got a haircut, everybody. If you're watching us live on YouTube.
Where?
On youtube.com, go to the search bar, type in the Dungeon Crawl podcast will pop up. We're also in the link tree down below if you're watching us on Spotify, whatever. But you can see I got a haircut. I'm looking spiffy. I work at a hospital, and a patient said, "Hey, I like your hair." And I said,
Dude.
Well, I just got a haircut, so I'm happy to hear that.
You should get the others cut too. I'm pretty sure you've made that exact joke to me before.
Probably.
I'm excited. But
Unearthed Arcana, as you said.
Yeah. Unearthed Arcana. Ryan's favorite thing.
Mm-hmm.
One of his most favorite. And to me, I was a little underwhelmed when I first heard about it.
Really?
Well, I didn't read through it. And you know me, if it doesn't have Warlock plastered on the front of the article, I'm probably not going to be that excited about it.
You're like all those people that just read the headline and go, well, I know everything that happened in the article.
What else is a headline for? If not to grab your interest. And, you know, I've never played as one of these races or used any of these traits in the player's handbook. And what am I talking about?
True.
What is this Unearthed Arcana?
Draconic options.
Ooh, options, yay.
Which makes me think, I'm going to kind of spitball this before we even dive into it, but makes me think, just looking at the title, Draconic, races, whatever. But think about another Unearthed Arcana we had in the last couple months. Maybe 6 months. I don't know how long ago it was. But that also had dragons as the main feature.
Oh, I hated it.
This? What? No. What do you mean?
Remember, I was all pissy about getting all of the elemental damage types.
I hate it by that way. Yeah. But it was
that the thing you're talking about?
Yeah, I think so. But it was also the Drake Warden.
Yeah,
that's the one I'm thinking of.
That one is sick.
That's the one. That's the first one that came to my head. But there was another one in that Unearthed Arcana as well. But regardless, makes me think maybe they're doing some type of draconic dragon type book in the future. All of my spitballs so far have been wrong because I keep thinking there's going to be a planar book at some point, and I've been off on that. But hey, one can hope.
For me now, with all this stuff that's been coming out, I'm starting to feel like they're just being their own DM's guild and they're just shitting out content. Though, I guess to directly contradict that and pretty much disprove it, the Unearthed Arcanas that we've had in the past have come out in source material, right? Pretty much all of them.
Yes, so far. I mean, this obviously there's some Unearthed Arcana that haven't, but most of them have eventually come out in some form.
Okay.
Sometimes they take years, but they do come out.
And there's still some stuff that I'm sure is not in anything or has been sitting around on the dusty shelves of Candlekeep somewhere, some way, somehow.
Well, the interesting thing about this, before we even get deeper into it, is that there are two. I mean, I guess when you think about it, most of them are already a race, but regardless, there's two things in here that are already existing in Dungeons and Dragons race that you can play right now that are basically these like reworks, like variants of those already existing races.
So,
which is interesting. I mean, it's kind of diluting it even further by saying if you play the OG Dragonborn, then you're kind of playing a gimped version of what they released here.
That's my big problem with a lot of these. And there's some abilities in here that are just like, what the actual living hell? They're not insane, but just flat out getting something like this at all over a race that gives you a stat boost and some like different walking speed or whatever. You get spells, you get extra abilities. It's almost like a subclass.
Well, all the races they've released in the races / lineages they've released in the last few Unearthed Arcanas, I mean, they are so different and so much stronger than the other races we've seen. Because if you go look at, say, a Tiefling race in the player's handbook, you get Hellish Rebuke and like a stat increase probably, and I think that's it. Am I wrong, Braxton?
Infernal Legacy also gives you Thaumaturgy, I believe. So like
Thaumaturgy,
some
that's
cantrips.
Right. That's correct.
But yeah, that's pretty much it outside of the usual like Dark Vision and other
As we've
things
noticed
like that.
nowadays, they seem to be releasing more features instead of giving you spells. And I think some of them do give you spells, but they're also giving you other extra things that you get later.
And in this case, I think they've made some of the most compelling, or at least fun, scalable abilities that I got really excited about. Because that's the always the thing I look for is I don't give a poop if you let me do an attack for a D4 and it stays a D4 the entire time. Can it be used in a unique way, or is it going to scale? If not, don't want it.
So let's get into it and move past the stuff that's been the same for the last few Unearthed Arcana stuff, where it's, if you are just now dropping into it, they've changed how races are. As we mentioned, they no longer give you ability score increases. You kind of get to choose your own. We've actually been talking in our Discord that a few of us think that they should still have a recommended or a not default, but one that is an option for you to choose, or you can then make your own, whatever. You can also now create your own languages, so an elf no longer just gets Elvish. You can choose it if you wish. And now they're also adding creature types to all races. So instead of everything just being a humanoid, now you might have, say, a Tiefling could now be a humanoid and be a fiend, etc.
Yeah, they even list all of the character types, and I was like, "How long is this list going to go on?" It wasn't too massively long, but they do a bit of stage setting here.
I'm waiting for the race that's a plant. That's what I'm looking forward to one of these days.
Is there not one? Well, no, yeah, it does say plant.
I mean, plant's in there. Like, the creature type exists, but I don't know if there's ever going to be a plant race.
Humanoid Treant player race. Please give it to us.
That'd be cool.
Probably exists somewhere. So starting off, they've sectioned these Dragonborn rather than, hey, you're playing a Dragonborn. Pick a color, texture, metallic trait. You get a damage type with that and a coverall breath. It does that damage type. Cool, done. They have sectioned these off into their proper categories. First off is Chromatic Dragon, and I almost want to say, Ryan, can we do this one last?
Okay.
It's first, but I want to do it last for a specific reason.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So you want to start with Metallic then?
Well, I mean, you've got it on screen. People are already reading it.
I mean, Metallic's also on screen, to be fair.
Okay, cool. All right. So with Metallic Dragonborn, these govern, and you'll see why I'm doing it. I'm doing it for dramatic effect. I'm being very annoying, probably. But these are your bronze, brass, copper, gold, and silver dragons.
The typical good dragons.
Oh, really? I always forget that they all have specific
metallics are good, and chromatic are the evil.
Okay. So in this case, you pick, obviously, one of these. Maybe you feel like you just want to be a silver one, gold one, just because it's aesthetically pleasing, or you want to min-max and you want to go with, like, lightning damage or acid because they're the most useful or fancy.
Yeah. And we will say, as we get to the other Dragonborn types, the ancestry stuff, for the most part, at least between metallic and chromatic, are colors change, but the types are all the same throughout. Like the chromatic, it's fire, and so does the metallic.
Yeah. So the biggest change here is that the breath weapon got a damage buff from, I think, 1d6 to 1d8, or 2d8. 2d6 to 2d8. Now currently does an entire
Even
dice
versus
tier
the player handbook? Yes.
So that's the big change there, which, hey, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And just like before, it scales with 1d8 every time you go up to a certain specified level.
Yeah, it's more or less the same. The metallic is also a cone, while the chromatic is a line.
Mm-hmm. Big change. And I'm just going to flat out say that cone is just better than a line.
Yeah, I mean,
more
I'd say,
often than not, there are
in
people
most
grouped
instances, yeah, but being able to shoot, in a 30-foot line, that could be handy in some
farther
point.
range. Yeah, and if you're in a hallway, sure.
You lead everyone into a hallway. That could be nice.
Most often, I enjoy cones.
But you also you get resistance to the type that you choose, which is nice.
Which is nice, and there are some obviously more useful ones.
And that's how the current Dragonborn is as well.
Yes. So nothing has changed outside of the damage type itself, but what is new now is a third level thing that you'll get. Every type of these Dragonborn, whether it's gem, metallic, chromatic, gets a third level feature. This one here, so at third level, you get a second breath weapon. Fun. This one's like a gas that has a DC save. I believe it's Constitution, so it's the usual 8 plus your con mod plus proficiency. 2 things happen. Each creature in the area needs to succeed on a strength saving throw, interesting, or be pushed 20 feet away from you and be knocked prone.
Ooh.
This is third level. That is extremely useful. Each creature in the area must succeed on a con save throw or become incapacitated. You get to choose one of these, by the way. Sorry, I mentioned that. Or be incapacitated until the start of next turn. Ryan, so being knocked prone, what happens when you attack a prone creature? What advantages do you get?
When you attack a prone creature, if you are within 5 feet, you get advantage. If you are away from 5 feet, like a ranged attack, it is a disadvantage to attack said individual.
Not only does incapacitated make somebody just unable to do anything, is there any other modifier for incapacitated?
Yes, there is, Braxton. I am so glad you asked.
He's looking up that.
I got to double check. No, that's actually it.
Really?
Incapacitated creature can't take actions or reactions.
All right. Do they also get the 5-foot advantage?
No, but would you argue that they are also currently, I don't know, I guess they're not unconscious?
Sleeping, kind of?
I don't know. That's a weird
Actually,
thing.
When you think about it, incapacitated could be like stunned, dazed. Would you agree with that?
Well, stunned is a condition.
Okay.
Stunned is a condition, and that means they automatically fail strength and dex saves, and attack rolls against the creature have advantage, period. I guess since it says incapacitated, there are no more farther rulings, at least as written.
Okay.
Raw. It just means they can't take actions or reactions.
Cool. Well, I mean, you get to put somebody out of commission for at least a turn, and you can do this only once per long rest. So you can't spam it. But what I like about this is it creates a lot of dynamics, both depending on which option you choose. The first one, things getting pushed 20 feet and being knocked prone. If you want to get advantage of the prone thing, you either push them towards somebody or you've got to use your movement. It creates options and a dynamic situation for you. It's not
Gives you
just
stuff
effect
to
done.
do.
Yeah. And then the other one's just nice. They can't do anything during their turn. It's like, okay, cool. Awesome. So to me, this is one of the best abilities that has shown up on a race ever at this rank, at this tier, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not jazzed. I don't think it's like a crazy, super strong ability, but I also don't think it's, a shitty ass ability. I think it's good. It's nice.
So since it's on screen, let's jump over to Chromatic Dragonborn, just for contrast.
Well, I can scroll back up, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. For Chromatic Dragonborn,
everything else is the same. You get the black, acid, yada, yada, yada. You get the breath weapon that we said is a line. Same damage, same modifiers. Everything else is the same until you get to the third level ability.
Yes. And
Chromatic warding.
This is so underwhelming compared to the other one at third level for 10 minutes.
What? You think this is underwhelming?
Yes.
I think this is one of the strongest abilities ever introduced into Dungeons and Dragons.
I am entirely against that.
Okay.
Just for context, let people hear, both sides of us. For 10 minutes, you become immune to damage type associated with your chromatic ancestry. Once you use this trait, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. The reason I think it's underwhelming is because damage types are wide, varied, and this is insanely situational.
Yes, but let's say you pick a fire or a lightning or an acid. I'd say those are brought in. Actually, poisons in a lot. If you're fighting something that uses any of those things, then my God, you are untouchable in that fight. You're a god in that encounter for it's 10 minutes. That is so long.
I know, but I would argue any competent DM is never organizing a fight around one entire damage type.
Well, a DM that knows this exists and knows their player has it definitely needs to have that in the back of their minds. But if you're running a module, Curse of Strahd that already exists, and you're coming across something that is based around this type of stuff, you're in a swamp that's poisony, you pop this, or someone gets struck with for example, let's say Braxton has a magic ring that allows him to negate necrotic damage that's it, just for a certain damage type. One time every 7 days or something. But let's say, for example, you could use that damage type. You know you get struck with necrotic damage. You know this creature uses necrotic damage. If you could make yourself immune to that specific damage for 10 whole minutes for the whole fight, you're a god in that encounter.
Yeah, I just tend to gravitate more towards consistency, and this is anything but that. Unless you're in just the plane of fire. But, for 10 minutes, when that's gone, you're dead in terms of D&D plane of fire. But to me, again, it's just so situational, and it creates this sort of tier list of a black dragon is just way less useful with the acid damage resistance, than fire or cold. It would be like fire, cold, poison, lightning, acid in terms of a tier list of most common damage types. And I tend not to like abilities that make one choice better than the other based off damage. Just damage types aren't my favorite thing. I felt this was underwhelming.
I can see where you're coming from, but I respectfully disagree. I think it's a very strong ability. I think it's arguably stronger, or if not, at least on par with the other.
I don't know if I said it was weak. I might have.
He did. He said it was very underwhelming.
Okay. I said it was underwhelming. Very big difference. Big difference. Underwhelming means I don't like it, and I find it's kind of, I don't know. But the Metallic Dragon one.
Well, thinking about it again, I agree with you that if a DM is not, is building around certain damage types, has certain encounters based around that, and knows that their player is in this, I guess it could be kind of fun occasionally to toss them something. Hey, feel like a god for a game or something, But I think the problem, not problem, but if you're playing I guess this is where metagaming comes into it.
It's metagaming.
If you know you're playing a module that has a lot of said damage type, then you might say, I'll pick this specific Chromatic Dragonborn.
Be a tank, get some sort of aggro/taunt ability, and then just nobody takes damage for 10 minutes.
So then I would say, as the DM, homebrew it, change things around. Honestly, I'd say if you're running a module, already do that, because odds are there's a player in there that's either played it before or something. That way you can keep it spicy and interesting for them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. It's the situationalness that leaves a sour taste in my mouth. Not that that's a word, but you get my point. So I think we fully covered both of these two. The next one is Gem, and this one's my favorite.
Did you even know gem dragons existed?
I actually did not. I think I have maybe heard of a Sapphire Dragon.
Editions, I want to say. Yes, there is I can't remember which gem it is. It might be the Sapphire one. It's on D&D Beyond, and you can only use it in, you can only see the stat block if you pay $1.99. It's for their Extra Life charity thing that they did. That's the only gem dragon that exists in 5th edition, as far as I'm aware.
I think Kenneth might have a Sapphire Dragon miniature. I could be wrong. If he listens to this, he'll message me and say, "Hey, Braxton."
Is that a Yu-Gi-Oh thing? Blue Eyes
of White Dragon.
Damn it.
Incorrect, Ryan. Get off your nerd chair.
I don't know Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh. All right. Well, the Gem Dragonborn, I think, to me, both just in the name and what it is itself, is the coolest to me. Everything else is the same until you get to... Oh, and we didn't mention the chromatic one has a line, of course.
No, we did.
Might have mentioned that. Cool beans. This one's
the
also
exciting
a
thing about Gem Dragonborn, besides even getting into the block of it, having Gem Dragons in 5th edition more, it would be really cool. I think Gem Dragons are just like a pretty sight to see.
Yeah, I'm excited. I haven't gotten to interact with dragons much in the campaigns that I've played at all, but
Yeah.
I know they're in Ryan's world. So maybe one day we fight some wyverns.
You also haven't had too many dungeons. Now that you think about it, Dungeons and Dragons, you're missing the whole point of the game.
Well, whose fault is that? It's not mine. Maybe it is. I'm just not going to the right places. They exist. They're out there. So typical thing, it's 15-foot cone with the same damage scaling, but you get force, radiant, psychic, thunder, necrotic.
All of these are humanoids. All of them have a medium size, walking speed 30, yada, yada.
Yeah, your typical Dragonborns. And these are some of the more fun damage types, if rare / different. Radiant can be very useful, as well as
radiant, psychic, thunder, necrotic.
That's so much cooler. And then moving to a feature that I was not expecting, and I guess this is a trait of gym dragons, is that they have telekinesis.
Yes, psionics.
Of some sort. So and we've been like, come on, give us a psionic supplement at some point. Maybe it'll show up. It hasn't happened yet. Ryan, take this away, because I'll get too excited.
Yeah, so the Psionic Mind, you can telepathically speak to any creature you see within 30 feet of you. You don't need to share a language, but they must be able to at least understand a language. They cannot respond to you, so it's a one-way conversation, but that's cool. That's pretty strong.
This is something that only really becomes available through the Eldritch Adept, and if you get one of the feats or invocations that allow you to have a Psionic Mind. And there might be one or two other things that can give you something like this.
I think the sorcerer, the Aberrant Mind, I think probably also would.
So this isn't something that comes up often. I mean, there's spells that let you do this, but the ability to speak into somebody's mind, 30 feet's pretty short, but it leans a lot of RP and strategy to it. And I'm like, hell yeah, love it. Yeah. And there's no language barrier. They can't respond, but they know what you said. Pretty damn cool. And then Gem Flight, which third level, this is in contrast to the other two that Ryan and I were polarized on. You can use your bonus action to summon temporary wings, an array of spectral gems that match your gem ancestry, which cool language already. 1 minute, so a few rounds, 6. And for the duration, you gain flying speed equal to your walking speed and can hover. 10 rounds?
10
even
rounds.
Better. You can not do it again until you finish the long rest. So
10 rounds.
Cool. Maybe not as like significant as just negating all damage, but on par with the other one.
Yeah, flying's pretty cool. I mean, it's I guess a minute's not long, but
yeah.
I'm trying to remember how long the
actual fly spell is.
No, the other race, the Aasimar. I'm trying to remember how long their flight speed
Aarakocra?
is. No, Aasimar have one. Aarakocra just have a flight speed.
Oh, okay.
The one of the Aasimar protector. I think the protector Aasimar.
I hear you.
I gotta double check now. Yeah, right. The protector Aasimar, Radiant Soul. You get it for a minute. Yeah. Okay. So it's also for a minute.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, coupled with the cool ass flavor of just sprouting gem-like wings. Whenever I've had the fly spell, I've gotten rid of it. But whenever I did use it, it almost broke fights or just created so much utility, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, they escaped a whole encounter I had for them.
Mm-hmm.
They just said, "Hey, I'll just fly."
It's not concentration.
That's true.
So
yeah,
hell yeah.
Fly spell lasts 10 minutes, but it's a third level spell, so of course it will.
Yeah, third level spells are some of the most useful ones. So that's it for the Dragonborn. I'm really excited with what they did here. I can see them probably tweaking these a little bit, but I'm glad they overall buffed the damage of the breath weapon and made it a lot more useful.
But Braxton, as we've said in every other Unearthed Arcana with a race in the last 6 months, what's the problem with this?
It's just better.
Yeah.
And they're not like out.
So imagine little Johnny comes to his friend's house to play Dungeons and Dragons with the boys.
Suck, dude.
And he just picked up the player's handbook. He's super psyched, and he wants to play the Dragonborn. So little Johnny's got his player's handbook, got his sheet, and then here comes Timmy next to him, and Timmy's got this new Chromatic Dragonborn. Are they the same?
I'm you, but
Kinda,
better.
But no. Yeah, it's the Spider-Man meme. They're pointing at each other. It's like, you're me, but you're all not me. You're better than me. And
yeah.
Imagine how sad that would be. The little Jimmy or Johnny or whatever the hell that guy's name was. He's now so sad that he can't do the same thing that Timmy's doing, but they're the same race.
Yeah, I think finally with these races, it's finally just release a second player's handbook or a new edition or 5.5e.
Because with their whole new idea, the whole new perspective that they have on races now, they're just negating the races that have already existed.
Mm-hmm. And humans, their whole thing was to be able to have this flexible stat array. That was their whole thing.
And I love what they're doing with the races. Don't get me wrong. I think they're putting them in the right direction, but what do we do with the old ones?
Not play them and just let them sit around. I mean, it's going to get to a point where they're going to see, I would imagine, less sales of the player's handbook.
But you still need it for other things.
That is actually very true. And yeah,
that's where they get
newcomers, little Jimmy or whatever his name was, is going to go, yeah, I'm going to get the player's handbook because I need that.
That's what I need.
Well, Jimmy, you know, if you want to have a better form of the Dragonborn, because I know you like dragon-based stuff, you're going to also want to buy this and this. But hopefully they're like, you know, I've got the supplements. I'll let you look at them, or D&D Beyond content sharing. Well,
speaking of something else that already existed, here's the Kobold, the new and improved Kobold that previously existed in Volo's Guide to Monsters, or whatever the hell. I think that was the whole title of it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But it was in there, Volo's Guide to Monsters, and there are some changes in here.
There's a lot of changes, and I'm excited, and we'll probably play one of these at some point because of one of the portions of it. But kobolds, for those who do not know, are small little draconic creatures, you know, far removed from those large winged beasts that were brought about.
They do worship them.
They do worship them. At least
some do.
They're basically their gods. But lore here and there, blah, blah, blah. Kobolds here, they're small. And can I just say, I love how they phrase size. You are small. You are medium.
You are small.
It's just not size, small.
I don't think, okay. They were also, never mind, I'm an idiot. Keep going.
Yeah. No, you're not. No, don't say that.
I'm a dumbass.
Dumbass. Well, dumbass. They get 60 feet of dark vision. Nothing changes there. They just
they had that before.
Display the whole thing there before. Draconic Legacy. So
there.
You get to choose one of the options when you select the race. So keep that in mind. You don't get all three. They may change this, of course. You gain advantage on saving throws to avoid or end the frightened condition on yourself. Niche, but okay, cool. It's a racial ability.
Lots of things have frightened.
Mm-hmm. You know one cantrip of your choice of the sorcerer spell list. Intelligence, wisdom, or charisma are your spellcasting ability for that cantrip. Cool. Yeah, all right. That's fine. You make unarmed strikes with your tail. When you hit with it, the strike deals 1d6 plus your strength mod, bludgeoning damage. Yeah,
that's cool.
It is cool. So none of those are like game breaking, but theoretically these are level 1 traits.
Yes, yeah, you get that right off the bat.
So none of them scale, which may be sad. Well, maybe the cantrip does.
The strength one technically does. It uses your strength modifier if that goes up.
If it does, but most of the time if I'm min-maxing. Hopefully my dice rolls or the stat array I do. Plan for it. Just get that max right away.
Ideally, our odds are you probably only get that if you are a strength-based entity.
Which is interesting too. I don't know. It's basically another weapon. That's fun. But Ryan, oh my God. Read this next one.
The Draconic Roar.
Yes.
As a bonus action, you let out a Draconic Roar your enemies within 10 feet of you. Until the end of your next turn, you and your allies have advantage on attack rolls against any of those enemies who could hear the roar. You use this trait a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. You gain all yada, yada, yada.
Dude, a multi-use AoE advantage for everybody?
Yeah.
Woo!
No save involved?
It just happened. It's pretty short, so you're going to have to get close and dangerous.
Yeah,
but
within 10
bonus
feet.
Action, so you get to use it on that turn and all of your teammates. Dude. And the proficiency bonus use, it scales.
True. This is almost like the flip side of the Kobold that they had in Volos, where the one in there was very much the stereotypical kind of small, scared little creature. It even has an ability called Grovel, Cower, and Beg. And this one's like the exact opposite, where it's like the tough Kobold screaming at the top of its lungs to get all of its teammates to have advantage on stuff.
This is sick, dude. If, when I played Magic the Gathering and I played Commander, I used my Prosh dude who summons a bunch of kobolds. If they were this badass, Prosh would be more broken than he already is. Dude, let's go. Whenever I move,
go.
we got to play some more Magic the Gathering, man.
Yeah, we'll play it on the Dungeon Crawl Network.
Oh, that would be a lot of fun. What? Dude, that's a great idea. Holy hell.
You never considered this?
Well, my brain has been far removed from cardboard and crack. I was an addict at one point. Now that I have money and time and a job.
Oh, no.
It's bad. And I've already gotten into gacha games, dude. It's the progenitor gacha game. It's bad. It's a good thing I suck at the game. Otherwise, I would play more. Kenneth's great at it. Yeah, I'd love to see you guys play. So next up, after we finish that, which I love this class. Wonderful. You go to feats.
Yeah, there's 3 feats.
I didn't say that. So you've got first up. Actually, you know what? No, I want to read the description here because I think they got a nice little thing going on.
Okay.
So first off, people often just get abilities in D&D, and maybe your DM doesn't need to role play or give reasons for that. But right off here, they say a feat represents a character achieving mastery in one of their capabilities or discovering the ability to do something completely new. It just doesn't happen. I love that they put a little description there to kind of instill that mindset.
That's cute.
Which is a little fun. And then when this mastery arises from a draconic source, whether it's the gift of a true dragon, the manifestation of some draconic heritage, the blessing, blah, 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 whatever, it can have dramatic supernatural effects. Cool. Nice.
Some would even say draconic effects.
Haha. Fancy. Oh, and they mentioned at the beginning of these that there are spells, so get excited to hear about those. And some of these spells and feats, I think mostly the spells are based off of famous dragons that you may know about.
Yeah, the spells later are actually very cool.
They are very cool.
I mean, the feats are okay too.
They're okay. I'll take this one away. Go
ahead. So I'm gonna kind of rush through the feats because some of them are pretty cool, but they're nothing special. I wish so the only one that has a boost to a stat is the Gem Dragon gift. It increases your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma score by 1 to a maximum of 20. I personally, and I could be proven wrong by people who have been playing D&D longer than me, because I've only been a player for a little bit, and I've been a DM much longer, so feats were non-existent as a DM. But for players, I would usually only want to take a feat that actually increases an ability score and gives you something. So most feats that don't do that, I would just look over.
It depends on your stat array, because sometimes you're 2 away from a stat.
Sure.
Which sucks, and it's going to take several levels to build that up, but still good. Or if you're a min-maxer, you might just not need the extra stat.
Fair.
Something like that.
So the Chromatic Dragon one lets you touch a weapon. You can think of this like a Game of Thrones type thing, where you touch the weapon and burst into flames. But you can also have it be acid, cold, yada, yada, whatever. But for the next minute, the weapon deals an extra 1d4 of that damage type. Not very cool. But also, though, when you take acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison damage, you can use your reaction and give yourself resistance to that instance of damage. Use your reaction a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus.
When I first read this, and this is to give me credit as also a dumbass, I thought this was like a timed thing or maybe 1 round of resistance. So I was like, oh, big brain, get a dagger that does like no damage, hit yourself with it, and get resistance for a round. But now I realize it says for that single instance of damage. Would be very silly.
I think this is a very weak feat, personally.
I thought it was strong, and now I think it's weak. I thought it was on-demand resistance for a cut of HP.
There's some much stronger feats that you should probably consider before this one. Gift of the Metallic Dragon is next. It lets you learn the Cure Wounds spell. You can cast it once without spending a spell slot. Problem being, I guess not really a problem. It could be good. But the spell's casting ability is intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. So you get to choose. That's cool. I like that. It could be good for clerics, even not clerics. You can also manifest protective wings. So instead of flying wings, that can protect and shield you or others from attacks. When you or another creature you can see within 5 feet of you is hit by an attack, you can use your reaction to manifest the spectral wings from your back for a moment. You roll a d4 and grant a bonus to the target's AC. That's good.
Yeah.
I don't think I would waste a level up feat on this.
No, because oftentimes if you're playing like a class that casts spells and you have access to the Cure Wounds spell, you're gonna take it.
I mean,
And
it is nice that it lets you cast it once without expending a spell slot.
Mm-hmm. And then you can do so again as many times as you want if you have spell slots until they run out. But again, the problem with these sorts of things is if you're not a spellcasting class, it's going to stay at that same level and not scale later. So it's not going to do much. And feats, you can't get rid of.
This one I do like, though. The last one, the Gem Dragon Gift, increases your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma, like I mentioned previously. But it also lets you, whenever you take damage from a creature that's within 10 feet of you and use your reaction to emanate telekinetic energy, the creature that dealt damage to you must succeed on a strength save or take 2d8 force damage and be pushed 10 feet away from you. So it's kind of like a mini Hellish Rebuke that also pushes things.
Yeah. It's really cool. I definitely thought this was the strongest one out of the bunch as well. Yeah. But all of them nonetheless are fun. Again, proves Gem Dragons are the best.
Still the best feat is Chef, though.
Kenneth wants to take that in the Dungeon Chronicles.
I want to take that.
Oh, no!
Off, Kenneth. You better
have to talk to him
off.
about that. Oh, shit. He's been talking about it the whole time.
What?
Ooh, at least to me, in our one-on-one DM player talks. Oh, damn. Don't you get feats at level 3?
We'll both take level 4. We'll both take it, and we'll both be chefs for the party.
Damn! Imagine the things you could cook with 2 chefs.
It's
twice the food.
Cool. Yeah.
Jumping into spells, though. You ready?
Yeah.
They, I guess they wanted to start off with a bang because they go with their 7th level spell first and kind of scale down from there. This one's
alphabetical, isn't it?
What?
It's alphabetical.
Is it alphabetical? All right. Well, again, I am an idiot. I was just like, okay, 7th level spell first. All right. So one of my favorite things is to see casting time, action, or whatever, how long it takes to do this thing. Whenever I see bonus action, I always, so good. Love getting that
stuff. You
stuff.
can still attack something with your action.
Oh, yeah. So one bonus action, 7th level. So set your expectations high. 7th levels are strong spells, and they can be underwhelming a lot of the time. So for this one.
And if you're a Braxton, you will never get to cast at 7th level unless you get a certain ability.
That is very correct. But, warlocks rejoice. It's okay. You have some other stuff you can do. So you're going to need a statuette of a dragon worth at least 500 gold points. Have a fun time getting that, but you should be rich mother funsters at this point. Concentration for 1 minute. You do a big old roar and draw on the power of dragons to turn yourself into a dragon-ish type thing. You gain the following benefits until the spell ends. Again, it's 1 minute. Blind sight with a range of 30 feet, which allows you to see anything that isn't behind total cover. You can see invisible things, even if you're blinded, or in darkness, blah, 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 cool things. And corporeal wings come from your back. A lot of wings this time. Dragons do have those. Giving you a flying speed of 40, that is 40 feet.
Whoa.
When you cast the spell, and as a bonus action on turns after this one, for the duration, you can exhale a breath of shimmering energy in a 30-foot cone. Each creature in the area must make a dex saving throw, taking 3d8 force damage on a failed save or half as much on a successful one. You might say that's a little underwhelming in terms of damage at this point, but you're also getting flying for a minute, and you're also getting blind sight. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, don't be a little bitch.
This is 3 spells in 1 for a bonus action.
That's sick.
Dude.
I love it's like the Dark Souls thing where you can turn into a dragon for a little bit and walk around and do stuff.
Yeah. Dude, I like this one a lot.
I love this spell, yeah.
I won't ever get to use it, but
that's true.
Warlock problems. Unless it's, my Mystic Arcana, but what's the next one?
Turn you into stuff.
Yes, those are always fun and super powerful, and ones that have multiple effects. Fizzban's Platinum Shield.
Here's some Fizzban action.
Let's do it.
This is 6th level Abjuration. It's an action, 60 feet. You need a platinum plated dragon scale. That could be a whole quest to go get that.
Oh, yeah.
Concentration up to 1 minute. You create a field of silvery light that surrounds a creature of your choice within range. You can choose yourself if you so choose. The field sheds dim light out to 5 feet as a bonus action on subsequent turns. You have to cast it, and then you could, I guess, because it says subsequent, you couldn't do that exact same turn. It'd have to be next turn.
Mm-hmm.
Can move the field to another creature within 60 feet. I mean, it wouldn't make any sense to be able to move it to someone else. The creature protected by the field gains the following benefits. They have half cover, have resistance to acid, cold, fire, lightning, and poison damage, the whole shebang. And if the creature is subjected to an effect that allows it to make a dex saving throw to take only half damage, the creature instead takes no damage if it succeeds. So it's like a rogue. That's it.
So, I mean, you got that damage resistance again, so I'm going to assume Ryan is like, yes. But the interesting thing is that if they have resistance to acid, cold, fire, and lightning and poison damage, oftentimes the third bullet.
Well, no. I'm gonna cut you off there. It's not the resistance that I'm psyched about. It's if you're talking about the thing from before, it's the immunity that I'm psyched about. There's no immunity in this spell.
So if you got resistance and you auto save on the dex thing, it's just those. Sometimes they can cancel each other out. So it's just like extra protection. It's a little double dipping here, but still pretty strong if you're a protection based like fighter and you like theming your stuff around that. This will be useful to keep people alive.
Maybe you toss this around, to different people in different stages of the combat encounter.
Protecting
that could
an NPC.
Be cool. Nah, it's good. NPC. They die.
All right. Well, maybe we're the ones killing the NPC. Would you use Flame Stride to get there faster? If you've seen Fire Force, this is what makes me think of that. The main character has Devil's Footsteps, and his feet turn on fire, and he's really fast. This is a bonus action on yourself. Verbal, semantic, no components other than those things that you do. Concentration for 1 minute, so don't get hit and fail. Don't do that. You get flames of a dragon that cover your feet. Hopefully you've got good shoes. So increase your speed by 20 feet. Yeah, those would hurt. Hopefully you're just naturally resistant to it.
They're probably cloth or leather shoes. Those things will burn.
Yeah, you'll die. Heat-treated leather or something. So increase your movement speed by 20 feet, and moving does not provoke opportunity attacks. So you can zip around all you want.
Also turns you into a rogue.
It's true. Gives you an AoE, not an AoE, like a 5-foot AoE, so a ring around you basically of damage over time, 1d6 per turn. Cool. So every time it is a creature's turn, I think they take damage. A creature or object can take this damage only once during a turn. So whenever it's their turn, they take that damage. So something else to mention is the wording here. And I want to say if you remove a couple of words from this, it becomes hilarious. When you move within 5 feet of a creature, this is the proc for the AoE, or an object that isn't being worn or carried, it takes the damage. If you remove isn't being worn or carried, you just do damage to everything that is on a person.
You start burning stuff.
Yeah, just kill everything. This is fun.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's cool.
Not like super broken, but does scale. Increases your speed by 5 feet for each spell that goes up. Additionally, 1d6. Everything above third, you get those bonuses. So you cast this at 9th level. I'm bad at math. I'm bad at math. This is 6. So 5 times 6, 30. You get an extra 50 feet of movement.
They put this on the Ranger spell list. Cool. I like that.
Ooh, Drake Warden gonna zip around, dude. Yeah, dude.
Imagine the Drake itself flying, and then the Drake Warden with Flame Strike running next to it. Oh, man.
Dude,
that's my next character.
If you wanted, you could be a Dragonborn, and the spirit, your Drake that you have, is a fraction of your god's, or your ancestors' existence. It's their spirit or something.
That's cool.
Fun stuff.
Let's kill off Ormano so I can do that.
Oh, God. No, we love Ormano. But you know what I love more is the name of this spell. Just say it.
Icing Death's Frost.
All right. He's a dragon, I assume. Icing Death?
Probably. It sounds like a dragon.
Just reminds me of a cake dragon.
A cake dragon?
Icing.
Huh.
Yeah.
But it's death. This is your doom.
If you eat enough cake, you'll probably die.
That's how I want to die.
No. It would be... Yeah, too much of a good thing is not a good thing. But this spell, I think, to me, I enjoyed it. For anybody who wants to know, so it's a 30-foot cone.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit of a weird thing with the range here that I'll come back to. Each creature in that area must make a con save. On a failed save, the creature takes 3d8 cold damage. Pretty high at second level for an AoE. On a failed save, they get that and are covered in ice for 1 minute. And I believe their movement goes to 0. Their speed goes to 0. So you've got a massive cone AoE. Hopefully you don't hit your friends. That does a pretty good chunk of damage and freezes people in place. This is a fireball wombo combo.
This is, I guess so. But it's like a mini cone of cold as well.
Yeah, dude. This is really, really strong. Now, I will say, Ryan, I don't know if it's a typo or a technicality that is on purpose. Why is the range of the spell in the description a 30-foot cone, but the range of the stats, self, parentheses, 15-foot cone?
Unearthed Arcana, baby.
Do you think 30-foot cone is going to be too big for second level spell?
This is playtest material. No. Try to think of some other spells. What is Burning Hands?
I would imagine it's 15.
I think that's 15 foot as well.
Yeah,
it's a 15-foot cone at first level.
Okay.
Would an extra level add,
2 is 1 times 2. 15 times 2 is 30.
Burning Hands is 3d6, and this does 3d8.
It's a strong spell, regardless.
Yeah, true. I think this is a good. I don't mind it being 30 feet. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, dude. If you play in Ryan's games where his monsters run away for their lives because they value them, you stop them in their tracks, man. Nah, get back here, and then you kill them,
bitch.
It does scale too. Every time it goes up past second, you get 1 extra d8. Hell yeah, scaling spells. This next one though, I am not a fan of it. And I feel like Ryan is not going to be a fan of it.
Nether's Mischief.
Yeah, what do we got?
So it's an action. It's an illusion, second level spell, range of 60 feet. You can bring a piece of crust from an apple pie if you so choose. Concentration for up to a minute. You fill a 20-foot cube centered on a point you choose within range with Fey and Draconic magic. Roll on the Mischievous Surge table to determine the magical effect produced. At the start of each of your turns, you can move the cube up to 10 feet and re-roll on the table. So, for example, one of them is drops of molasses appear and hover in the cube, turning it into difficult terrain until the start of your next turn. Another is bouquets of flowers appear all around, and each creature in the cube must succeed on a dex save throw or be blinded. I mean, it's kind of cool, but I feel like the problem with this is you don't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have friends in there, it could be a problem for them. It's too much like I'm playing Hearthstone where I don't know what's going to happen. I'm trying to strategize, but you can't strategize until the random effect has occurred, and then it might screw up everyone else's plan.
Yeah, and it's the thing with all these effects is they're almost the same thing with varying degrees. One of them is getting charmed. These creatures get charmed.
Yeah, it's just a different
form of incapacity.
It's just a different condition. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first one's the best because if they're charmed, you can convince them to stop.
I think it's stronger if it's enemies only. Like you choose creatures within range or something along those lines. Like you can choose people to not be affected, but I guess at that point it would probably be a higher level spell.
Ryan.
What's up?
This is the best spell in the entire game.
Pronounce it.
Don't do that to me. Ralathim's Psychic Lance.
That's pretty good. Now say it like you're casting it. I'm going to cast
Ralathim's Psychic Lance.
I'm going to cast Ralathim's Psychic Lance.
Yeah. Well, you might not even say it because
awesome.
this is like a silent killer too.
Yes, it's true. It is verbal though. You do need this.
I did research on this to make sure I was correct in my statement. I could still be wrong because there's a lot of spells out there.
There are a lot of spells.
For the level that this is at,
4th level,
instantaneous, 1 action, 120 feet, verbal.
Verbal.
So even if you're restrained, it can still happen, which has been a theme in the games I've been playing lately. Very interesting. You unleash a shimmering lance of psychic power from your forehead.
Right here.
Like Dragon Ball. A creature that you can see within range. Or if you know that creature's name, it just auto-targets it. And even it gains no benefit from cover or being invisible. Okay. All right. Okay. Invisible creatures get hit. Goodbye. If the name target, keep going. If they're not within range, of course, it doesn't happen. But the spell slot doesn't go away.
That's nice.
Target must succeed on an intelligence saving throw. That's the kicker.
Not many of those.
That's the kicker. But 10d6 damage in the form of psychic.
10d6.
And incapacitated. Until the start of your next turn.
And incapacitated.
So it's a hit or do nothing spell. Yes. So you've got to manage to hit the thing.
I think what happened is they saw our episode on enchantment spells and saw, hey, they're correct. There's not too many super strong spells in that school.
Mm-mm.
Let's toss something into it.
There's also not many damaging spells in 4th level. There's a few of them. There's like 3 or 4 that do reliable, consistent damage, but the only ones that come close are like a couple of D8 and a couple of D6s or 8D8 which is 64, so it's a little bit more damage than this.
So did you look at who is allowed to use this spell, Braxton?
Don't you dare ruin my life.
Bard, sorcerer,
I swear to God.
wizard, and the warlock.
Yes, let's go, dude. Oh boy. Woo. Ryan, can I get this spell?
You gotta get to a spot where you can change it, man.
All right, it's okay. We'll be level 11 at some point soon.
True.
But oh my God, like it's like I get it. I actually did not really see the intelligence saving throw, which is really gonna suck. But it can. But
not everything is super smart.
The good thing about intelligence is often you can tell what creature is strong against. If it's a spellcaster or something, you've got a 50-50 chance with wisdom or intelligence.
Or the person you cast this on will just utilize one of their legendary resistances.
Yeah. So it can be turned off, which is why they made 10d6, but it does scale for every level that happens. I just think at 4th level,
I want to hear your thoughts real quick.
Right.
Very quick, because I don't think we'd ever do a whole episode on this. Very quick, Braxton, before we finish this off with the last spell. What is your opinion on legendary resistances? You've yet to encounter a creature that has them.
Well, Straw did.
Okay, well, that's last campaign. I'm in this current campaign.
So
So you cast hold person, hold monster, whatever the hell, on this big bad creature, and it fails the save, and you hear the DM utter, "All right, well, he's gonna use one of his legendary resistances." Do you feel bad? It feels kind of cheap, doesn't it?
You could copy paste my thoughts on what's the thing counterspell for this.
Okay.
A little less so.
What about like power words as well?
Yeah, same sort of situation. I feel I get where they were going with it. You know, we've got big bad evil guys, and we don't want players to just be able to, you know, stun lock them or demolish them
in one turn. Yeah.
In that same way, I think it's the easy way out in terms of game design.
So now I agree with you. But I also did not think until recently that there's no real fix for it, right? There's no real way to say, how do we prevent the big bad Strahd, literally the whole campaign is built up to, from just getting paralyzed and die in like one turn. This is how we prevent that. So give them 3 legendary resistances, 5, whatever. But I want to say it's from 4th edition, or maybe it's a different edition, but there's a condition called dazed, where they are dazed, and it's like -2 or -4, I believe, one of those, to all ability checks, attack rolls, and stuff like that. And I think that's a good, I don't know what the right word is. It's good alternative, I guess. So you use a legendary resistance, but then for the rest of that turn, that creature has -4, -2 to their AC, to their attack rolls, you know, stuff like that. So you can visibly see the creature has weakened. You've at least done something to it instead of it just wasting a
So legendary resistance
spell.
gets a debuff because it takes so much.
Yes, it takes so much strength from the creature to resist your spell.
Somebody out there saying, no, right, they're supposed to be strong, Ryan. That's stupid.
They're still
Why would they?
strong.
Yeah,
not being paralyzed. Yeah. I think I read someone say that today, and I was like, yeah, that's actually a good trade-off. That's a good trade-off.
It sounds like a legitimate nerf that somebody could do for these. Now, I'm gonna pay attention in our games, Ryan. And if you use a monster with legendary resistance, they better not have it, or they better have that debuff.
Okay, I'll try to remember that. I did take a picture of it on my phone, so I'm gonna try to remember it. I really like that idea.
So if you want to add a homebrew thing in, that's really cool. If you don't like know you or sorry bud things.
If you guys want to find who said it, it's on Reddit, and the user that said it is Samurai Juby.
Jack. Oh, sorry.
They said it's a -2 penalty to ability check, attack rolls, saving throws, AC, etc. to the end of their next turn.
-2 might not be significant enough for some things, but at least it's something. You know,
right?
At least it's something. Until they use their legendary resistance again, and the -2 doesn't matter. Well, yeah, then it's -4. It lasts for 2. Nah, I don't know. So go roll with it.
Yeah.
Roll
consider
with
it. At least think of it. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Do you want to summon a Draconic Spirit?
It's a spell that summons stuff.
Yay.
Another summoning type. I mean, it's nice that now there's a Draconic kind of version of it. But yeah, we've seen it before.
And you're going to get this spell from a quest, most likely, because you need an art object from a dragon's horde. Like,
horde.
Dude, you can't get shit from a dragon's horde. Good luck.
Good luck. What?
So you call forth a dragon spirit. It manifests in an unoccupied space, blah, 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 whatever. You get to pick chromatic, gem, or metallic, which ties you to those elemental types within those categories. So know what you want to pick, because it does limit your options. So, of course, it dies when it drops to 0 hit points, blah, blah, blah. It obeys your verbal commands, no action required by you. If you don't issue any, it takes the dodge action. Higher levels, whenever you cast it of a 6 or above, use the higher level wherever the spell's level appears in the stat block. So that's their form of
Braxton
scaling.
and I had a whole conversation about this in our last game, but do you, as the player, actually need to give it a verbal command, like utilize in your turn to say, hey, attack that thing? I mean...
It says no action required by you, so I think that's their form of saying you can say it whenever.
I just don't understand why the whole, regardless, move on.
Yeah, it just reads your telepathic intents. Yeah, you could just say the monster knows your intention and does how you wish it to act.
Yeah, I mean, the player's already controlling it. I mean,
just say you control it on its turn. And players can...
Is the player going to decide, hey, I didn't say anything for it to do, so it's just going to...
Which I literally did. Last session, you were like, yeah, I'm not going to be a dick.
Yeah, you know what it knows what you want it to do. I mean, come on. You summoned it here. I mean, if it's a devil or it's a demon, it's just going to do its own stuff, but it's not.
Yeah. So this large dragon, again, this is a 5th level, so it's pretty impressive. It's got an AC of 14 plus the spell, and hit points 50 plus 10 for each spell above 5th, with speed of 30, flying 80, swim of 30. It's got some good stats. Good chonky strength with 19, and then dex 14, con 17, intelligence 10, wisdom 14, charisma 14. And then it's got a lot of resistances depending on what it is.
Sure.
So chromatic metallic only, they have their types. Gem only has its types. Conditioned immunities to charmed, frightened, poisoned, blind sight, dark vision, passive perception 12. It can speak Draconic and the language that you speak. So all of them, which is pretty cool. If you're like an elf that has a good variety of languages. Proficiency bonus equals yours, and it has shared resistances. So when you summon the dragon, choose one of its damage resistances, and you get to also inherit that until the spell ends.
Ooh.
Fun.
Nice.
What kind of action's going to do, though, Ryan?
You can utilize its bite and claw, and then it can also breathe on people and things for 2d6 damage.
It's on-demand spell damage type.
That's a good point.
Which upsets me because canonically there are not many, or it is not common unless it's a god, for a dragon to be able to command all of the types within its family. But it's whatever. I'll continue being upset about that, but it's cool to be able to change the damage type to whatever you want.
Well, because if you think about it lore-wise, it's a spirit of the collective draconic stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. It still freaks me out, but I'm not as upset at this one because it's a literal dragon.
Yeah.
Which is okay. Cool. But it's a godly power to be able to command the elements. The Avatar. Have you seen that? He had to go on a whole adventure. Don't scoff at it.
You went on a lot of adventures, yeah.
How'd you feel about this?
I like them.
Mm-hmm.
I want more Unearthed Arcanas that have some spells and some feats and some extra fun stuff. The fact that they went to this extra mile and had all this stuff really makes me think they're going to make a Draconic book of something.
Yeah. What do you think about them redoing every single race? Because what have they done so far? They've done Dragonborn. Has there been any other Player's Handbook revamp?
Player's Handbook?
There have been new races.
No,
I don't think
this
there's
is
been
the first reduct. I mean, they did two
ones
as well. They did the Kobold and they did this one.
Yeah. But in terms of like human, we've got a variant, but elves and all the other ones, I think it leans more credit to you thinking and saying that there might be a dragon-based thing coming up soon. I don't know.
But do we like this trend of them just re-releasing?
I like the new content. I don't like it in context of D&D 5e. With everything else that exists.
Then again, do we say, let's have a 5.5 edition?
Yeah. Just do it. Make it slightly more complicated. You are obviously adding more effects and more things for people to think about and consider when they're making a character. So just do it. 5e is touted as overly simple for those that get into D&D, and it's their first step. And as you turn around on the stair step of tabletop RPGs, you see 5e there, and you're like, oh no, look how shallow and far down that step was. Oh, I remember that time in my life.
Makes me wonder what the shelf life is of 5th edition. And we've talked about before that it's, besides 1st and 2nd edition, we're now getting to the cusp of where the next edition would kind of be announced and kind of be coming out in the next few years, but it doesn't seem like they're stopping anytime soon. Is the 5th edition the new games as service? They're just going to keep updating it here and there, or
there's that word.
Or are we going to be getting a 6th edition at some point? I don't know the answer to that. I honestly didn't expect there to be a Pathfinder 2nd edition so soon after the 1st edition of Pathfinder, but they did, and they're crushing it.
What do they have to lose from doing a new edition?
I think
for them as a company, not for the community.
I think there would be a fear to lose people. The people that say, hey, I just bought an ass load of 5th edition books. I don't want to buy more. It's like when a new Magic set comes out, or you haven't played Magic in years and you see, oh, there's 4 more sets since then. Oh, I just don't want to bother. I could see that being a problem because then you'd have to buy, the new player's handbook, the new Dungeon Master's Guide, a module probably. And you got to relearn if there's new mechanics. Like if you go from Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition to Pathfinder, it's like they're distant cousins. You can see the similarities, but there's still a whole lot of learning curve and stuff you got to readjust yourself to. And I could see a 6th edition doing that and throwing people off and say, I'm just going to stick with 5th. And then you have a problem where you've split the fan base. And that's what led to Pathfinder, because you had people that still loved the older 3.5 edition. And they'd said, I don't want to play 5th edition. Let's just make our own that's similar, but different. And I don't know. I don't have the answer. I'm not an executive. I don't make these decisions. No, I'm no Chris Perkins.
You're not.
No Mike Merles.
I often say people have more choice than they think they do. And that's something they're not wanting to present. They don't want everybody to be paralyzed with choice. But you look at D&D right now, and it's treading in new waters with 5th edition, but the people who love the past editions still buy and spend money and spend time on those just because they like it. People still play Oblivion, even though Skyrim's out, and they'll still play Morrowind whenever Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. It's not scary. You get in and you just say, okay, well, what do I do here? DM friend, are we playing 6th edition as it comes out or 5th edition? Well, you guys are newer. 5th edition's a lot easier. If you guys want to do it, we'll go that route. 6th edition's a little more complicated. They got more fun options. If you're up for a challenge, let's do that.
Do you think they would? If they made a 6th edition, they would kind of do the opposite of what they did with 5th and try to make it a little bit more complicated, less streamlined?
They would go with this. The character creation wouldn't just be, what do you want to flavor it as, and what do you want your stats to be?
So do you think they found out that what they set out for 5th edition worked, but then they found themselves in almost like a glass ceiling where they saw what they wanted to be, but they saw there's literally no way to get there unless we just say, we're going to add on to it regardless.
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to burst at some point, dude. I think their fear of segmenting people with a new edition, they're literally doing it right now.
They're releasing, 4 or 5 books a year?
Yeah, and all these supplements that people are going to be sad about, and they're in a campaign of 5 years, and they really wish that when they started this, they knew these supplements are out, but their DM won't let them change because it doesn't make sense narratively. You know what I'd
like to see? I'd like to see some more system, or I guess D&D agnostic books, like a Manual of the Planes that is just, it's not a 4th edition or 5th edition Manual of the Planes. It's one that will work forever for D&D. I mean, granted, you could say you can go back, and that's what I do. I go back and grab the 2nd edition, 4th edition Manual of the Planes books, but they change stuff in later editions. I'd like to just see a straight up, these are the planes. This is what you can find within the planes. This is how they react. But I guess the problem with that is then, like in Pandemonium or in the Hells, there's stuff where this fire does 66 damage to you, and that might be a lot more in a 6th edition or a lot less in a 6th edition. So there's problems with that, and I guess that's where like DM's Guild content comes in, because there's some really good Hells-based, Planes-based content that you can find that's literally just like a lore book that obviously takes inspiration from other manual planes. So I don't know what I want from Wizards of the Coast. I'm going to be honest. That's what this whole last 10 minutes has been us talking about. I don't know what I want from them. I know I want something.
I want something.
I don't have the answers.
It's like they've got all these folders and there's files riddled throughout with names, and none of them are sorted properly or in the right folders or organizations and whatever. You've read past editions and the rule books, right?
Yes.
So I did that for the first time because one of my coworkers plays Dungeons and Dragons, and to my surprise, they're new, but they're playing 3.5 or whatever the 3 is. And she was sending me her spells and stuff, and there are statuses,
you're like,
conditions,
what am I reading?
and I'm like, what is
like a foreign language?
Flat-footed? And she's like, oh, it's a specific armor. I'm like, huh? But I got excited because that's the type of interaction that can make combat more engaging.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people take inspiration from 3rd edition and 4th. I mean, actually, I'd say more people take inspiration from 4th edition for like status effects and combat stuff, because there's some really cool ideas. That's why Pathfinder exists, because people love 3.5 edition and then played 4th and saw this is not what I want my game to be. I'm sure even more people saw 5th edition like, this is even less what I want to play, and that's why a lot of people went over to Pathfinder.
5th edition is the Hearthstone of the D&D world. It's oversimplified and sometimes random.
Yeah.
Magic the Gathering is 3.5. I'll leave it at that.
Maybe. I don't know about that.
I'm excited regardless. More content is great. More official content. It's fun to look at, chew on. I don't know.
I do like chewing.
I do like chewing. We chew here before. And if you want to chew with us, I don't know what this train is. You can follow us at our social media at Dungeon Crawl Pod, Twitter and Instagram. I've done a new thing where every episode that comes out, be it the Dungeon Crawl or the Dungeon Chronicles, for this show, I grab a great informative clip, a funny clip, usually of both Ryan and I saying something. It's usually him doing a joke in it.
You know what would be crazy? Yeah. If you took this and turned this into the clip and posted that.
I could, but it wouldn't be relevant to the episode itself.
No, it wouldn't, but it would be what we call irony, I think. Maybe.
The meta. If you want to check those out, I do intros on our Actual Play podcast every time it shows up as an NPC from it with a short description, non-spoilery, of the episode. If you want to see my voice acting chops, that's where you can do that. But yeah, at Dungeon Crawl Pod for those. If you're looking for email inquiries or like businessy stuff, thedungeoncrawlpod@gmail.com. And again, everything is the Dungeon Crawl themed, but we do have the Dungeon Chronicles, our live play, which happens on Twitch. Twitch.tv/the Dungeon Crawl Network is where we do everything now.
Go hit that follow button.
We don't host VODs for those. We do live stream every other Monday, and it's going to be happening tomorrow for us. That is February, or not February. We're in April.
But by the time you listen to this, Braxton always forgets that by the time you listen to this, it has already passed. So I'm sorry you missed it, but you can watch it on YouTube on Thursdays.
The YouTube is the Dungeon Crawl.
So the next stream for you crazy kids will be on the on
3rd of
May 3rd, and that will be around 6 p.m. hopefully.
Oh yeah, I think that's about everything I say. We do have a Discord. We hang out in there. It's been pretty lively actively. If you want to play Apex with us and Kenneth and Ryan and some people, you can jump in.
The problem with that is only 3 players, so you can't really.
Yeah, we got some friendly people. They hop in and out of the voice chat. So if you're tired of your Discord channels where nobody like really does anything, because social anxiety is a thing and people can't break the ice. The ice has been broken here. We would love to chat with you. It's in the description if you go to the link tree. That is it from me. Why is it quiet? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking tired, dude. Go to Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars, man. Just do that shit.
Damn, in contrast with what we did last week.
And then rate a review and type in it and say, wow, I love this podcast.
If you want to see that, Ryan usually does he's tired. It's been a long weekend.
Yeah,
usually does a little bit. And last time he did Salty from our Actual Play, and it was one of my favorite. It was fucking hilarious. Go check out our last episode on making a character for one-shots and whatever else we talk about there. That's it. He's got a banana. Don't slip on it. Thanks for crawling with us. He's been Ryan.
Make sure you check for traps, because this banana will trip you up. And he's been Braxton.
He's been Banana. This is the Dungeon Crawl. Thanks for listening. Deuce. is Magoots. That's why I say it right.
Make sure you guys come in next week, because next week we're going to be talking to some people, having our first. I mean, okay,
like a collab.
We've had like friends on the podcast, but this is gonna be our first like actual kind of actually having guests on the podcast, and it'll be fun. It'll be super cool.
Yeah.
So look forward to that next week.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if I want to say. I don't know if we should say anymore. But I don't know. Just
it'll help.
Excited.
It'll help you with writing a bit.
Stuff. Yeah.
Writing
stuff
things
in your world.
Writing Sonic fan fiction. We took the best and top creators in that community. I'm just kidding. I'm stopping that now. We didn't do that.
Is that a community? Probably. I shouldn't ask that.
Don't ask. They'll
probably exists.
Oh, that was bad phrasing. Goodbye.
See you next time.